Okay, this is the third time I am recording this because the first one I did not like how it went. So the Fate collab was a flop. Yes, I said it. I said it as a Fate fan, okay? Because I waited at least almost a year for this collab to actually happen and release, only for it to be a fucking flop. Okay, here's why. My first problem: the Fate collab story is just a Penacony filler arc in the skies, and the Fate characters are just mostly side characters. Why the fuck did they make this into a fucking Penacony filler in the skies? The fuck's the point? I was expecting this to be, I don't know, maybe emphasis on Arthur. Maybe we're gonna get to know him better. But no, half of it is just yap fest on Scott, which is the villain. Yes, there's gonna be spoilers in this. And most of the Fate characters that are supposed to be important, they already do anything. They did absolutely nothing. Maybe yes, there are some moments that they do something, but it's just tiny stuff, which is so fucking dumb. Point number 2. Arthur is a fucking hunt path. Why did they make him hunt? It's a fucking mystery to me. But okay, but despite him being a hunt, he's still a pretty good DPS. Even better than Sable and Phymons at E0, which is other two new DPS. And if you haven't logged into Onkai's starter yet, make sure that you claim him because of course he's a pretty good DPS at E1. However, there is still one downside to his kit. His Noble Phantasm, which is weird in Marble, doesn't change the gameplay scenery. Because if you read the visual novel or just watch the Unlimited Blade Works anime, the scenery changes into a field nothing but swords and maybe some engines in the sky, which is of course supposed to be representing his mind into being a machine. But yes, we do get that in game, but it only lasts until his animation is complete, and it's just him throwing swords into the enemy you're fighting. But come on, you could have just at least changed the scenery and made him into at least somewhat familiar to Phymons, because of course Phymons, during his ult, the scenery changed until his turn's finished. Why didn't we get that with Arthur? I have no fucking idea. You could have at least copy and paste what you did with Phymons, kit into Arthur's, and nobody would give a fuck. But no, you just made him. It's so fucking dumb. And another dumb thing is that during the story, we get to visit Brighton during one of the part of the story. And they made Brighton, and okay, guess what area they used to make Brighton? It's just Phymons Village from 2.1 story. You could not convince me that this is supposed to be Brighton, okay? It's just, they're just reusing maps and just say, oh, this is Brighton, by the way. Oh, how is this Brighton? Oh, there's a Excalibur over there, and we go to there and to see Sabers, and we get to know Saber's story, which is cool and all. But did the Fate collab cost you that much that you have to reuse a map model and pretend that it's Brighton? Oh my fucking god! And another part about the story, which is pretty fucking stupid, is during the time when Woodhill, Aventurine, and Arthur meet Scott, and Scott's servant, which is just a fucking NPC that we don't know about, just made the entire thing silent. So we waited for almost a year just so that we cannot hear Arthur and Saber's JP voice talking. Are you fucking kidding me? It's a stupid fucking idea. So we have to use our imagination on what they're actually saying. Or you could have just read the subtitles, which is, yeah. So they edged us. They were edging our cocks. They were edging our asshole. They were teasing us. Just for at least 1 hour of the story to be completely muted. You fucking kidding me? And the servants, okay. We got Lancer, Arthur, and Saber, of course. And how about the rest of the servants, right? There's more class than that. Oh, guess what? They're just NPCs. They're just fucking NPCs. We didn't get Hassan. We didn't get Media. We didn't get Medusa. we didn't got Berserker. No, there are just fucking just lazily made NPC models. It's so fucking dumb. They were just random side characters from Penacony, okay? The way that they could have just made it somewhat okay is interesting. Is at least made the model at least somewhat high quality like Lancer's. At least Lancer's, despite Lancer's outfit being a bit goofy, is still somewhat higher quality in textures compared to Castor's. Why? And another point, the story was only 4 hours long. Everybody was expecting this to be, I don't know, a fucking movie. To be focusing on Arthur's past and his story until becoming Arthur. But no. We get a fucking yap fest about Scott and the random NPC servants. We don't care about them, okay? We came here and being Fate fans to know about Arthur and Saber and Lancer through the POV of HSR, but no. We just really lazily done and kinda disappointing and slightly disrespectful. And this is what we got for waiting almost a year. Overall, it's fucking disappointing and it's a flop. It's getting a 3.5 out of 10. I could have rated it much lower, but it would have been much lower if we didn't get Saber's part where she talks about her past during quote unquote Brighton, which is a good thing. We get to know her better, but no, which is a good thing, yeah, because we get to know Saber what's better. But hey, how about Lancer? And Lancer, yeah, we barely get to see him, which is probably fitting because of course Lancer's gimmick is just him dying early. And that's pretty much it. See ya.